Welcome to another episode of EB Opinions Corner. I'm Madinatu Adejoladin, Content Manager, Enterprise Bureau. On today's episode, Enterprise Bureau poses the question: is it true that street hawking is underrated in terms of generating income? Let's listen to the opinions from this week's guest, Cynthia Afia Boache, CEO Raspberry's Children's and Babies World, lawyer Yasmin Bumi Kuruma, and John Sandima Mohana, Research and Development Manager at Mohapewa.co Limited.
Yes, street hawking is underrated in terms of income generation. Number one, I would want to outline a very, very key factor in this notion. Now, when someone finds him or herself in a major city as compared to someone who hawks in a rural area, obviously the one in the major city would make more sales than the one in the rural area. For instance, if the person is hawking here on the streets of Accra, compared to maybe someone who is hawking the same products and services probably on the streets of any rural city in Ghana, let's say somewhere in the eastern region or the northern region or the upper east region, the person here in Accra will generate more income because of the fact that Accra is the capital city of the country, number one. Number two, Accra is more populated than, the other the other regions. Thirdly, the prices of goods and services are relatively higher as compared to prices in the rural areas. So obviously, the person here hawking in Accra would generate more income. And then secondly, when one is hawking from one place to another, in terms of his goods and services, now this is what's going to happen. Compared to someone who is stationed at one place, the person stationed at one place has, a limited number of customers or clients that will come around. Let's say I live in an area where there are only 20 settlements. Now, the probability that I'm going to make sales of, constant sales throughout the year is very high because I have only 20, I have people coming in from only those 20 settlements. The only time probably I would get something more is if someone who used to buy something at 10 cedis decides to buy, today let's say the person decides to buy something at 15 cedis. That means that day I'll make +5 profit. But compared to the one who is hawking from one place to another, now the person would, get to meet a lot of people and would make more sales. So if the person hawks within an area and it's not making any sales, it's not making any profit, he or she goes to another place and then goes to, sell. Now, one interesting thing about Africans is that we do a lot of impulse buying. I personally would want to buy, if I meet a pregnant woman hawking, I would want to buy from the pregnant woman because I feel for such person. In the same way, someone may also meet a child who is hawking. I have a friend that if he sees any child under the age of 10 selling, even if he doesn't need the thing that the child is selling, he will end up buying everything and then have the child go home. So yes, all of these petty factors create more income as compared to the person who is stationed at one place. So I think yes, it is underrated because probably we haven't really looked at it in that area. But then if we try to go out to do market research, we realize it's really working, because why would sometimes the government would want to put a stop to street hawking and then in a week or two people are back on the streets hawking. maybe we should ask more questions.
I think it mainly depends on what the individual is selling and on his or her marketing skills. People do generate income from it for daily survival.
Street hawking, of course, is underrated in terms of generating income. We know for sure that the very practice of street hawking is considered illegal, and it is frowned at in many countries and in many cities in Africa and the world at large. But the truth is, street hawking creates room for income. It generates income, and it goes at a faster pace. So in many cities and economies, this very practice of street hawking that is often considered as an informal sector of the economy actually brings a lot to economies of cities, because it creates so much employment for people that are hawkers, and it brings goods and services out there to the public, and the purchase is made easier. So that itself makes the sector to have a running and flowing income. Now, if this sector is formalized, if this sector is looked into, if this sector is managed properly, it would really generate income for so many economies and so many cities, so many countries right across Africa and the world at large. So indeed, as it stands in Africa, from my own perspective, in my country, Sierra Leone, in my city, in the capital city, Freetown, in other major cities and towns across this country, where street hawking and street hawkers are actually considered illegal, that are chased at by law enforcement agencies. If they are considered part of the economy, taxes can be generated from the practice, and more jobs can be created, and more money can go into the economy if it is formalized as a sector of economic business.